Well, glad to have you back. You're still watching Newsnight here on Arise News with me and Iyamu. Now, let's discuss environment. Nigeria is faced with a multitude of environmental challenges. These, of course, include deforestation, pollution, and climate change impacts like flooding and drought. The environmental issues are exacerbated by factors like oil exploration, inadequate waste management, and lack of robust environmental policies. From oil spills in the Niger Delta, air pollution from industrial emissions, and waste burning and plastic waste. Experts say the consequences are fast manifesting in climate change impact. And joining us now in the studio to take a look at the environmental challenges and the attendant climate change impact in Nigeria is an expert in environment, Air Vice Marshal Akube Iyamu, retired. Glad to have you join us on Newsnight.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Good. What is the greatest, what in your estimation as an environmental expert, will you say is the greatest challenge Nigeria is having when it comes to climate change effect on our environment?
Thank you for having me. I thank you, viewers at home. The greatest challenge is the Constitution, Nigeria Constitution. Now, if the Constitution creates climate absurdities, it will encourage people to commit environmental atrocities. If you look at Section 20 of the Constitution, which approximates how the state is supposed to deal with the environment, it's very, very inadequate. Very, very inadequate. You see, if you want the people to be in the future, you must allow them appropriately to be in the future. Otherwise, they will be a victim of a transiting era. That's what the Constitution has done. Now, the Constitution is still holding the climate management, approximating it in the old form. There's no way in our Constitution that climate change was mentioned. Now, I bring the Constitution up now because now we are having a constitutional review. I want the chairman of the Environment House of Representatives, the chairman of the Environment, the Senate, the Ministry of Environment to take a look at it. Because as it stands now, in the Constitution, it is in the exclusive legislative list, which means it's just routine. You really cannot do anything. 2, it is not justiciable. Meanwhile, so many items on the environment, they are all human rights, water, food, and everything. So we need to cascade it to the 4th schedule of the Constitution. That is the local government. The climate management is a local government thing. It's not a federal government thing. We take it out from the federal government exclusive legislative list and take it to the 4th schedule so that it can be appropriately managed. You can't expect when climate has happened in, say, the local government area, you are calling the federal government. No, what as the federal government, what is the local government doing? No, the 4th schedule should be loaded. It should be more scheduled, so that it can respond appropriately. So if we deal with that, we will be in a very pragmatic way. What the Constitution has made the citizens do, like ball watchers, they are just watching. They really cannot do anything.
Now you talked about the Constitution and
yes,
the old order.
Yes.
You're an environmental expert.
Yes.
One would expect, like they have said, they need inputs.
Yes.
Without inputs, they can't do anything.
Yes.
So I'd ask, have you made inputs? Have you presented a paper or your stand on these two?
We're going to present a paper. But definitely, it's a private paper we will be presenting. The main task lies on the Ministry of Environment and Water Resources. Those are the 2 people that are approximating climate change, that are approximating flooding, that are approximating environmental degradation and environmental restoration. So whatever we are doing is assisting them. So they cannot be on the convenience side of the ring when you are managing an environment. When you see, if the Constitution constrain everybody in the exclusive legislative list and it's not justiciable, then we're not really managing the environment.
So if we're discussing, one guess that, of course, they are watching, as they would usually do. If they're not taking this necessarily proactive action like you're talking about, what then gives? I mean, it will be like we'll still be where we are.
No, I don't expect us to be where we are because we are trying to put together our paper now to say, look, let us take environmental management away from audio. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Because
move it to the local.
yes. It should be cultural now. You see, our environmental management is so ceremonial. No, it is an everyday. You see, the humans are the one causing the disorder. Let them know that you are the one causing the disorder. Because the impression that the average citizen of Nigeria have is that it is government that will do everything. Meanwhile, he doesn't see himself in the chaos. He doesn't see himself in the chaos. And see, and also say that let the appropriate organs, let's reimagine them, let's reposition them to tell, because whatever you are doing, the philosophy and the theory, they are not understanding you. How can we go to the local language? Because the flooding now, those are the sign of the things to come. Mokwa, Texas, South Africa and not need the political will.
You talked about being justiciable. Is that even possible?
Yeah, it's possible. It's possible. You see, if for now, say an environment, say a dam, you want to build on the dam, and I say no, I go to court. It's an environmental issue. But the way the Constitution has shaped it, it is not justiciable. So you just create activism around it, and that's all. It's not supposed to be like that. You see, the world is growing. There are 117 dams in the world, and the world is congregating around that because it is becoming a threat. And Nigeria have about 340 of them. Because if you look at all these things in context, the flooding is going to continuously be very devastating, very catastrophic. If you have a dam and you're not managing it well, and the people have no voice around it, you are just asking that they become what I would call environmental captives.
Or spectators. What kind of voice are we talking about here?
A voice to say, look, this thing is infringing on my environment. I go to court.
Oh, okay. Back to the same justiciable.
Yes.
Yeah, but the people themselves also understanding that little things they do, like throwing things in sewage.
Yes.
Because I mean, if you get to, I mean, Lagos anyway, if you look at the gutters,
yes,
you will see bottles, you will see plastics, and the drainages barely move.
You see, everybody is culpable here. I want you to take a drive around Abuja. Well, yes, I like development. It is very good. But when you're creating a development and you are now constraining the waterway, you are looking for trouble. It's not only going to be a Trainmore estate this time around. It's going to be a very wide area, because you notice now that most of the days in the last in the last 1 month, the night comes in very, very late. By 7:30, it's still very bright. What do you think is happening? See, the earth is moving with so much effort around the sun because there's so much water there. You also notice that there's so much cold.
Yeah,
you are going to have very, very abnormal weather. You are going to have winter in summer. You are going to have summer in winter. You are going to have autumn in spring, and spring in autumn.
And these are the effects of climate change.
These are the effects of climate change. And you see, like you said, the agencies, Abuja Environmental Protection Agency, AMAC, and all, what are you doing? Everybody is just dumping refuse anywhere. Is it that there's no law? You see, climate change is ruled by laws, regulation, law and regulation. It's seismic. It's seismic because you cannot stay on the convenient side of the ring and say, no, we are doing climate change, we are doing climate change. No, it doesn't work that way.
Are we doing enough to help people, because it is said that if you tell somebody not to smoke, show him what to be doing, otherwise he goes back to smoking. Are we doing enough? I mean, aside personal discipline, to have points where people can dump their debts and, like you said, don't build on places earmarked for water throwaway. Are we doing enough to enlighten people, to get people to understand these little basic things?
No, we're not doing enough. But walk through the important roads in Abuja, where will you see trash point? They are not there. If you go to the arterial roads, you branch off, they are not there. You see, if we give the effort we give to politics and election in Nigeria to managing the climate, we'll get so much money. Let me just tell you, the kind of money that is in climate change, our Sahara Desert, nobody has looked at that. What keeps the Amazon forest going is the Sahara Desert. It's the phosphorus and the iron that is blowing from there is what keeps the Amazon leaf green. We're not looking at that. Every year, we are just waiting for the conference of parties. We just pack our bag, go there. What is the
COP, you mean?
Yes. What is the incidental advantages? No, it is this little effort. There's disorder. You see, the people that have been suffering for a very long time, you are supposed to, the vote of thanks you are supposed to give to them is good climate governance. That's the vote of thanks you give to them. Look at the case of Mokwa. Nobody's talking about Mokwa again. That's the first flooding. I bet you the second one will come. The second one is not, I'm not a prophet, but that is the climate
prophet of doom, if you want to add that. We hope that that preparations will be on gear, because I mean that's what we always talk about, being proactive instead of reactive. When things happen, what do we do? How do we, especially the issues of flood?
Yes.
I guess we'll leave it here. Air Vice Marshal Akube Iyamu retired. Thank you for allowing us to speak your brain.